Right now we're at Preservation Orchard. This is located on Mount Warner, off Mount Warner Road in Hadley. This is a farming co-op that is comprised of a few different farm businesses and a small cooperative group that grows a variety of things, including cider apples, the main thing. We've got mixed nut tree crops, chestnuts and heart nuts. We have a beekeeper as well as Meadowfed Lamb, which is my partner Rachel's and I's farm business. It's a Silvopasture grass-fed lamb and yarn and fiber business with our herd of Finnsheep that lives right here. This whole property is about 38.5 acres. This is our 4th season grazing on this property. It's been planted in orchard for over 100 years, actually closer to 150. We've just been doing our little version of it since 2019.
Hey ladies. We do strip grazing to keep the trees fairly open, do some weed management without endangering any of the trees. Yeah. The dogs love to be the first ones in, and everyone is very hungry. Excuse me. We move them like every 24 to 18 hours, depending on what the forage is like. Right now, these rows are a little sparse. Sheep, sheep. Yeah, we try to give them 4 100 lengths of fencing each move. That is generally what occupies like 10 to 15 sheep for about 24 hours. We have Finnsheep, which are a landrace breed from Finland. They are an amazing dual-purpose sheep for both fiber and meat. Low carcass weights, their bones are really small, which gives you pretty good yield, although they are pretty small stature, which is great for the silvopasture. We don't have to prune stuff too high. And the fiber is stunning for hand spinning, which was what originally brought them into my orbit. And their personalities are super gentle, and before we got the border collie, it was really nice to have sheep that came up to you instead of having to chase them around. And these guys totally adjust to being in the trees, preferentially over being in the open pasture. Having the shade access all the time, we reduce our water consumption by like 20 gallons a day when we're in the trees, especially this block because they're such a big canopy. And the dogs love it because they can vole hunt all the time, which is wonderful for us. So Finn, they have really beautiful fleeces. They're super, super soft. We shear twice a year, so usually the fleeces get to about 3 inches, sometimes a little bit more. And something that's exciting about them is they have so many lambs and you get so many different colors that you really can have like a super dynamic fleece collection. There's assumptions people make when you have fiber flocks that you're not pasturing them because it's bad for the fleeces because you get seeds and you get grass and like all this schmutz in there, which is really annoying for mills. So we focus, because I'm not gonna compromise the sheep health for fleeces. There's no reason to do that. So we try, that's one of the reasons why we rotate so frequently. And the tree coverage somehow helps. I don't know why, I think it's because they spend less time laying down or like nestling into the brush, which they do when they're in the open pasture more. So like we've been recently bringing fleeces to Junction 5 and they thought we coated our sheep, which is what a lot of people do to keep seed heads out. But it was just because we pasture them so like quickly, which was really great feedback to get. And like it's nice to see that you can do things a different way.
This is some golden russet, no spray. So you can see that fruit has natural blemishes. There's some evidence of some pests. This is like what you see with codling moth. some frass coming out the bottom of the calyx. You get some funny little knobs, some little plum curculio stings, some natural cracking or bird feeding. All that's good for making cider, so obviously cider is a great buyer of fruit from a no-spray orchard. We've got seven full rows of golden russet here, and then a couple trees interspersed in some of the next rows in the next block, which we're about to get to. The next block as we go up is Gold Rush, which is a disease-resistant apple that was bred in the PRI breeding cooperative, which is Purdue, Rutgers, and Indiana universities had a collaborative apple breeding project that yielded a bunch of scab-resistant varieties. These are some pollinizer trees. These are essentially just like a source of pollen so that we ensure adequate cross-pollination between trees of the same variety planted in a block. This is the main chestnut block at Preservation Orchard. This was planted in 2018, and they were dug and transplanted into this spot at third leaf, I guess. So in the last 4 seasons, they've really taken off. I mean, some of the trees are now like 25 feet tall, really producing like abundantly. This is an awesome block and forage block. Like the sheep have grazed in here twice this season, and it's looking like if we keep getting some good fall weather, then they could graze at the end of the year too. What we've tried to do with the chestnuts is to be like all grazed and be out of the orchard that we're preparing for harvest for 30 days prior to harvest, which allows the grass to grow a little bit, grow back a little bit. Some of the manure and fertility that's left behind can integrate into the topsoil, and basically just let things rest for a little bit before come in with foot traffic and often tractor equipment to just like haul the nuts out of here, helping to keep the access and the management of this area much easier, in addition to just tuning up the fertility in the soil and keeping an eye on how much nitrogen is available to these trees. These are grafted heart nuts. They are a nice silvopasture tree because similarly to other trees that have a compound leaf, quite a bit of shade and have very leafy canopy in the spring and summer. So that helps early and late season forage growth in the understory, and it allows the trees to cast the maximum amount of shade in the hot part of the year. So it's a really great silvopasture species because of that. Yeah, we've also integrated running tractored broiler chickens through this terrace block. Last season we did in a bigger way, and small, now currently establishing flock of layers is sort of at the top of the block now, working their magic. So these little structures behind me are they're 8 feet wide by 12 feet long, and it's a really good size for to have 2 of them going at one time is the right scale for us to have close to 50 birds in each, and they move twice a day. So they're adding just a perfect amount of fertility after the sheep come through and do their quick pulse. We have the chickens do their quick pulse. I'm really excited to have an ongoing chicken presence, especially for pest control in apples. The things that I'm thinking about are plum curculio, which part of their life cycle is on the orchard floor. So chickens and guinea fowl, other types of poultry can be really effective in managing that, which is a major pest of all apples. Silvopasture as a concept mimics a natural system in a natural way. So using the benefits of herbivore grazing and the other kind of ecosystem components and trying to find where the balance point is between all those moving pieces.